Okay, you guys are all good.
Okay. In our meeting with the pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Packed house in here tonight. Holy cow,
So you see.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
So a couple of things got tabled from the agenda. And I added under 5 a acknowledgement of a county resolution regarding Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad. That we just make mention of, and it was the county group. Anybody else have anything? Okay. Our meeting minutes from May 26th, 26.
I move to accept the minutes.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Thank you. So the end of the fiscal year, we end up having 2 abstracts, one from 25-26, one 26-27. And this may happen again at our next meetings.
Yeah, there's abstract 23 for the end of the fiscal year is in the amount of $44,582.80.
Moved and seconded, and audited.
It has,
All in favor?
All right.
and then the first abstract of the new fiscal year is in the amount of $159,394.72.
So move.
Second,
Moved and seconded, audited,
and also audited by.
Okay.
Yeah.
and all in favor?
All right.
So Karen and I just on that subject of that we had a conversation with the accountant and they will be closing out our May books. And so at our next meeting, we would probably make any more budget adjustments that have to balance out the book work and things from the different departments. And that should close us out, and we may have, like today, 2 abstracts if we have bills that have to be paid out of that money from last year, if the bills haven't come in yet
I
or.
mentioned the treasurer's report this week, but know that there's probably going to be a handful of transfers to wrap up fiscal year.
Right. But with the fire department, in case you get it. Another call, or you want to?
Another call.
Or you want to do whatever you want to do, you can.
Not gonna be long, I know that. Holy cow. The ARC Technologies thing.
Yeah, if you want to do that, we each have one.
Yeah, it's the new computer company that we've been talking with. We both got contracts for us and the village. It seems pretty close. Karen reviewed the hourly rates and the contract's like $50 more a month, which is.
So this is replacing the company that we did have that is no longer doing this.
Right, so BOCES CNY Brick is going to be discontinuing at the end of this calendar year. So they put us on notice so that we have time to, look for who else we could do. They'll help us with the transition. And in fact, we had already found someone that wasn't one of the ones they had recommended that's worked for municipalities, and it was the group that we worked with for the email conversion. I don't know if that's a plus or minus for some people, but.
Don't look at me that way.
But we're familiar with them. We know some of their employees.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a good working relationship and an easier transition than to a whole new firm.
Yeah, the one advantage is the guy that has been doing both of our work went to work for them. So he knows our system, he knows the deficiencies, he knows the good things, so
Right.
there's and he did say too, like, there's probably no more buying new computers for a while. We're probably gonna be refurbishing all of our computers and putting new memory and cleaning them up, and because you just can't get them reasonable anymore. Like it's back to the olden days when they first came out, the big bricks were like $4,000. They're expensive again, so
Yeah.
he's the right way to do this right now is maybe just refurbish them and throw some little bit of money at them, kick the can down the road a couple of years and then maybe you'll be able to
See
buy
what they
it.
do.
Because Neil was actually looking at it, so that's why that topic is fresh in his mind.
Yeah,
Knock on wood, we're not quite at that point, but definitely we'll have to get creative going forward with the hardware.
Yep.
It's just a sign of the times. What's different is that the fire department has its own agreement and the village clerk, DPW, has an agreement, whereas CNY Brick was just one for everybody, because there are some services that are probably union to the fire department, he's separated it out. It's the same cost.
Yeah.
I did, yeah, just so you know, it's the same thing we spent before with one agreement, it's divided between the two of us.
Just fine.
So we have two agreements to sign tonight. if
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
approve
that's why I
them
want,
or
yeah, I
whatever.
wanted to give you a heads up, it looks like there's the same, but they're not. So,
Are we gonna, so we'll do one underneath the fire department.
So you're ready for us to move forward with
Yeah.
this, correct?
Yeah, there you go.
I think Karen's looked at it. and everything, so.
Yeah.
So a motion to enter into an agreement with JRC Technologies LLC. This one is for the fire department support. Okay.
So moved.
Second, other questions, concerns, thoughts on something like this?
So, is that a flat annual rate or is that just an hourly rate? So whenever we call them,
it's both,
Both.
there's monthly.
Monthly of $300 a month,
Okay.
which we paid $250 for last time.
okay,
And then the hourly rate is about $20 more.
okay,
So I guess that's why Rick's not doing it anymore. They couldn't make any money at it, so.
yeah, so. And
Or
then,
that monthly fee for the fire department is $300 and then services are additional if they have to come in actually.
They fix the problem.
If they
Yeah, yeah.
come to fix the
Yeah.
problem.
They do the maintenance and maintain everything under the contract. It spells everything out in the contract, what they do. Cause I was asking the same thing. We went through it a little bit and it's the same meat and potatoes of it as before.
Right, any other discussion? All in favor?
So the roof. We decided, after we met with the vendor. We had our illustrious lawyer review it, make the changes, and I've made the changes in the document. We're gonna go with a little bit. It's 57.2. Plus any $57,200. Plus any plywood that needs to be adjusted or changed. We can't have them do anything until we do get the number from Dasney, which I don't think we're far away from doing that. We may even have it, but I'm not sure about it. So I sent her an email this morning just saying, hey, we're gonna award this, we're ready for it, and we're good to go. So waiting to hear back, but we've got the grant for 85,000 from Dasney, so
it's awesome.
yeah, it's a win-win. Let's hope it works.
That's how we're working all of this, you know that.
Yeah.
What do you plan to do with the rest of that money? Or you haven't decided?
Well, we have to see how much more we need if there is plywood and different things there. Or there might be some other things that come up with this roof.
Associated with it, but I think the grant is very specific.
Yeah,
to
that-
the-
I know,
I won't be able to do anything. I don't believe I'll be able to do anything extra with the grant. The only thing we were trying to do was clean up the back parking lot grass area with putting a fence up. Take the old fence down and then fence in that whole area and put stone in there. So it's, take the bushes out, so it's not so ratty looking all the time. And then we could park,
Probably infected by any roof work, maybe.
yeah, that afterward we'll. That way we can park trailers in there, hide them, put a nice fence up. It'll look better than it does now. That's kind of the next step for that area. But we'll get through the roof first.
Like always, you have to examine what is allowable under application.
Yeah, that's what,
So the contract says that's what it costs if they run into some problems and you have to pay extra.
There's a roofing per square foot in the bid.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
I
So-
just want.
they'll run into something.
Oh, yeah.
So it's good that you have extra grant money, because
Yeah.
you'll need it.
We have 28,000,
I know,
so
you'll need it, maybe, hopefully not all of it, but you'll need some of it.
plus, there might be another. Credit in there too for $1,500 if we don't use the copper flashing in front. Sean seemed to think that, and that the contractor seemed to think that we should try to retain that, the copper front. He thinks that it's probably in good shape, but they won't know until they start ripping it off. So,
Right, a motion for the mayor to sign this agreement to have the roof work done.
And who is it with? It's just the record.
I'll second.
SJBS Construction Inc.,
It says somebody's name.
Where are they from?
Utica, New York. Kossuth Ave,
Spell.
KOSSUTH.
I'm not familiar with it. I'm good.
There was a motion, who?
Second.
Oh, Casey made the motion, Jane, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
4 days to do what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta, those things you gotta just do it, you
A
know?
lot of ripping and smashing.
Yes, it is.
4 days.
They're intense days.
Luck to him.
My recommendation is if you have any
What's he doing with the,
landscaping material along the side of your building, make sure that they put plywood over that. Otherwise, all that stuff will get trashed because they're just gonna,
The units in the back have to get covered.
yeah.
So that's the big one. The air conditioning units, generators, they all gotta get covered. Because stuff will fall down, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, they don't.
Not worried about the grass side because we're gonna hopefully rip all that out anyway.
Okay.
But the generator and garbage area, that's all should get.
Yeah.
Get covered up.
what's he doing with the ones that are taking on?
And whatever he wants. We got a ton of them down at DPW
Yeah, I got, yeah, good,
in crates.
yeah,
So,
I want some too.
and we did get ironically, which may help you with your roof next. SHPO approved the shingle that we picked. So
We may not have to stay with the slate.
I'm just saying, hard to say you gotta keep slate on this building when the rest of the buildings all got shingle that looks like
They
slate.
provided an example of a color pattern, but I think this is what they were seeking. So now I have something to go back to them to say, is this what you wish us to confirm?
It's pretty close to what we have up there now.
Yeah.
And it faded, so.
Yeah.
Should look pretty nice.
There was options.
There's some part timers.
I have one, Leah Brennan. For an EMT as a part timer. Hopefully a paramedic full-time when she gets her paramedic card. And we're gonna lose one here soon, so.
So,
And seconded, any other discussion, all in favor? Aye.
That's that, unless you got something for me.
We had just in passing and in general, because there really isn't much to talk about, we had our first meeting at the town of Manlius today regarding. Starting to talk about the consolidated fire district. I would say it was pretty uneventful as far as any kind of. You know, they gave us kind of an agenda and a kind of a forecast of what to be looking at. In general, but nothing really came of it. They gave us some, they obtained some data about calls and responses and different things, I guess if we want to call it that, from the county. They kind of consolidated that into some reports, whether they are quite accurate or not. Some of the things are probably okay, some of them are a little bit off, but based upon the numbers of what they were seeing and not understanding perhaps on the, it was their attorneys that kind of consolidated those numbers and kind of came up with this. So I would say they probably don't understand the workings of it, and that's why some of the numbers were off, right, from what we talked about.
Yeah, there's a component that, it looks like if you read the document that they proposed, that they showed us. It looks like we scratch a lot on ambulance calls. But what it's doing is, every time we have 2 ambulances in service, and we log one in and log one off. Because we always want to have one here. So when we were going to the city all the time, we played that game. We did that, so we always ensured we had, give the first one to wherever it needs to go, but the second one's here for our citizens, always. So we kind of still do that, but what it does is it generates a number, because when they call that second ambulance, they're calling a mutual aid ambulance at dispatch. And then we get on the radio and say, log our ambulance in, we're gonna go take the call. So it gives you the indication we're scratching on paper on the number data, but we're actually taking the call. So it's kind of skewed, but it's not, if you can understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because
No?
you're on a service for mutual.
So I'll try to
You
explain,
don't have to go through it, not for me, I mean, if other
but
people.
it's easy. It's,
Is it anything that they can fix for the purpose of study?
No, I mean, I mean, it was brought up today and talked about, and it was recognized, so that the fact that it's recognized, this was. They even kind of gave us an indication that all the numbers that they looked at are not necessarily all gonna be, like fine tuned to the right amount. They're fairly close on probably a lot of the things that they talked
Yeah.
about to us in this,
Yep.
they're gonna send us a copy of it eventually. They didn't send us the agenda till like 10 minutes before the meeting, so hopefully that will get better in the process if I would go along, but that's okay. I'm just saying, like, there's sometimes things take a little bit of effort to get it kind of the bugs worked out of it, I'll say, because I think that's all it was in regards to that. So, but just to keep you up to speed as to what's
Appreciate
going
that.
on is basically, this was a meeting to kind of set up our next meeting to give us some opportunity to think about things, look at stuff. Formulate, they're asking for input as far as agenda items and questions, data that we might want to see that we're not seeing. But that's very early on in this whole procedure because we haven't gotten there. They're gonna send some paperwork out for us to fill out to kind of combine some more like individualized types of actuaries of like each department, I guess is how I took that kind of procedure going forward. And so there'll be more coming, but they talk about a 26-week period of time. So, half a year, 6 months or whatever to do this, and that could be shortened or it could be extended based upon, the discussions and the ramifications that we're looking at and trying to figure out how to do things the best way.
I think it'll get short. It should, based on how they're doing it. They're using Ron Grainer's 2011 report, which we're using his templates and that kind of stuff. So we filled them out then. The data's there now, so we can easily know exactly what they're looking for. So I think some of that's going to be easier for getting the data to them versus trying to figure out what they're looking for, because data's data. You can have bad data and not understand what they're looking for. So that'll be nice that we're using a sheet that we've used before. I think the numbers, the data that they presented today, there's a lot of good data on that, on what they did based on where it came from. It was an Excel spreadsheet with numbers on it and how they broke it out and formulated it. And I haven't compared a lot of it to ours, but just a snapshot. I know what our numbers are for the year and I know what our response number times are and that kind of thing. So a lot of that stuff is accurate. So that's a good thing. It tells me that they actually got the numbers off the report because you can manipulate some of it, but you can't manipulate all of it. So I was pretty happy on some of the reports they were showing us. They were good reports, and they should answer a lot of information when this thing gets rolled out. The need, the percentage for 3 years, in some departments is 61% call increase over 3 years.
Wow.
Nobody was below 10%. So 10% of 2,500 calls, that's 150 calls. It's a lot of calls. So that's the kind of the data they're giving us. So it's very easy to track the escalation in all the calls, which also correlates with dollars. So it's defendable. Everything's defendable of what they're giving us. So we just got to verify and make sure it's safe. And they did a nice job picking the next meeting. The 24th, which is a Wednesday at 2:00.
Who's they?
You're all right.
I'm all right.
No, he's giving you the dates.
No, because he plays golf.
Oh.
probably
No, he
after
isn't.
the afternoon.
Oh,
It's a golf day.
it's a golf day, silly me. Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, I should say, I would have fought to change it for
I
you.
didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be that guy.
Tuesday.
Everybody did, but I tried to get it in the morning and that went over like, what?
No, is this a consulting firm?
No, this is strictly
The group.
the group of individuals, so representatives from the village side, the fire department side, and the town.
I want to know who was there.
I'll give you a list.
Yeah,
So the folks who gathered all the data are the individuals in the committee?
No, the attorneys for the town put that together.
they're the ones managing the process. The town's paying them
Yeah,
to manage the process.
that's fine. So they're also doing the data collection?
Well, for this particular item now, that's why I say we can seek data and resources from other reports and other things. The town itself foiled for the calls for these years.
Okay.
They got the information
So
from
they do
the
the-
911 center.
Yeah,
They
that's
gave
good.
it to their attorneys.
Yeah.
The people that work for the town attorneys, I don't know who they are, but they put the data together to present this
Yeah.
initial thing to us here. next step is, I believe, from what I understood, is to go through this Ron Griner's updating like our information, each department's information, so that they can kind of compile that and look at that. These are only like the very initial steps of what we're gonna be looking at. Eventually, if we want to see more or different things, we can request whatever. As long as everybody agrees to it, I believe the town will continue to pay for it. If it's something that we want just because we wanted as Fayetteville, we might be responsible for the cost of something like that. That's how I understand the whole process of this thing. If
I was kind of under the impression that Sarah wrote for a grant and for the whole process.
Yeah.
Because there's supposed to be a secretary taking notes.
which
I don't know if that's Duffy or not.
yeah, he was taking.
But they were supposed to have all these things to manage it so that there was no delays. And it couldn't get bogged down by any individual. They wanted it kind of streamlined so that, you know. We'll see. But I think the process looks like it'll be what it should be.
There is a grant that's available.
And it's weird because when you say the date, they got the data from that one center. I got it forwarded to me. And was asked if there's any way that I could try to figure out how to break it out. And I sent it to the guy that I know that could do it. And he's like, there's no way. Someone's got to have a really good program to do this. And I'm like, yeah, I thought so too. So I just said, no, we can't do anything for
Yeah,
you.
so they're working with some other kind of program software that's helping them.
Right.
Yeah, I wanna know who. All three villages in the town. Who else?
Kirkville Fire District,
They-
all the chiefs
That, oh, okay, Kirkville Fire District had a representative. Good,
and a chief.
good. And.
Poppy was not there.
They were invited, they signed on to the agreement, they were invited to this meeting, they did not come to this meeting.
Yep.
Nor from the indication I got from what Mike Nessie said was that Pompey's not going to be part of this district. They were just invited to participate in these talks and discussions because Manlius covers part of
I
their
was surprised.
district.
I was surprised it was mentioned initially.
I think there's more to it.
Okay,
I think-
fine. I
Yeah,
don't,
I think there's
don't
more.
have to know anything.
I think there's more to it,
I
but
was surprised because that's,
What could be, now you have piqued my interest.
well, there's a service component involved in the whole process and what goes on day to day. So
Between the two districts.
between what's they currently have in
Wait,
their district and what's being provided now.
Whoa,
So what's being provided now is actually a service, what's is there could never be a service. So I think they're just looking to see where this goes and they may annex into that. They may just sign a contract. Who knows what they'll do.
they're interested bystanders.
Yeah.
They're not gonna commit until they can have a better idea.
Yep. But
And I don't think.
they don't have any options.
And I don't think
No,
it
I'm
was.
sure they don't.
To my opinion, it isn't being offered for them to join into this district initially anyway.
I don't know.
No, I mean, that's the impression that he gave us today of Mike.
I think it's a great idea if they are.
well, they said initially they would be involved.
But I
Involved
said that, I don't know.
it's more tax base, right?
Well, involved in
Helps
the
spread the tax.
discussion, I'm not sure from the way, what I heard, and I could be wrong, because they have been a couple times. But
Daily.
I mean,
And I'm just saying, I think that it was, the impression I got today was they were invited to the discussion, but they weren't going to be part of this. If we do form a district, they wouldn't be part of it. Now, that doesn't mean that wouldn't change along the way of discussion and procedures that we talk about as we go forward. But initially, that was not part of the.
And this makes perfect sense, by the way, because the current situation is Pompey has a fire contract with the village of Manlius.
Right.
So
Wait,
that it's a similar kind of situation possibly is being looked at, obviously. With the fire district, that's all that they're looking.
yeah, they get money from them.
Yes, they do.
Not a little.
No,
I
no.
didn't say that. Okay, this is my question about that. Do we do a lot of calls to Pompey? Our village?
What? Maybe more, depends on, we go there for all reported fires.
No, I just talk to ambulance.
Ambulance, well, maybe a little bit more than ambulance. Probably not more than 50 total. Believe it or not, we go to Lafayette probably 15 times a year. We like to spread the wealth out.
Thank you.
Yeah, but they get paid for that,
Who does?
maintenance for Pompey.
Yes.
So do we.
Well, we get paid if we send an ambulance because we charge for that, just like. they
100% of
charge
it.
for it.
Okay.
I don't know, you know, there's lots of things we can split
They get
hairs
paid
of
twice.
this or that or whatever, but we.
You try.
They do.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
It-
It sounds like it was a good first step.
Yeah.
You're happy with the data.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at some of the data was presented. Way better than I thought it was gonna be. And it'd be, he went kind of fast, so, you know, I looked at the overall numbers to make sure those were pretty close, and they were, so that made me, and I knew what our response times were, so I knew all of that in a nutshell was pretty close. So,
It's great.
which makes me believe that a lot of it's gonna be pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Because your data mirrors what they have.
Pretty close, yeah.
You should mirror, you can make an assumption, you could be wrong, but the assumption is that their data mirrors everybody pretty well.
The reality is I put the data into them and submit it, and
Yeah.
so that's,
It should be your data.
should be close.
Should be.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have a great night. You don't need me for anything else, right?
No.
Okay, bye.
I'll call you in 15 minutes.
Nope, that's good. Hold on.
So DPW, Tyler couldn't be here tonight. He doesn't work Mondays and he didn't have a lot for us, but they obviously have been working in the parks and keeping up with that type of thing along with their normal types of routines of stuff. They're paving North and South Street towards the end of the month. He told me that would be taking place. And then towards the last week of June, he said, and they are starting next week. They're getting some of the sidewalk repairs under the grant that we have for sidewalk repair underway. And they are requested for the areas to be marked with the whatever UFPO or whatever you call it, marking for digging and all that stuff. And notifying the residents where they're gonna be doing that. He didn't give me the streets or where it's gonna be exactly, but that's underway. So if you hear people, I see people, that's what he's got going on.
Is the North and South Street repaving going to happen while the bridge is still out? That might be.
Yes, yeah.
Mill Street, that would be.
Oh, Mill Street's not happening
No,
then,
no.
because we didn't get the waiver, I don't think,
Oh,
from
okay.
the CHIPS yet.
Yeah, he has to submit for that.
So North and South Street are down
Yeah,
further,
yeah,
of course.
right.
Mill Street is not being done at the moment until we either
There's
get
two
the,
big potholes.
until we. Right, well, they could put a little bottle fill in there.
Well, they need to do something there. I know
Yeah,
they
they
do,
got-
they do something and then they just kind of like sink again over the course
I
of the
know,
week.
yeah.
We should have
It's
the
tough.
whole thing.
So we will, so that's not happening at the moment, but unless we get that waiver.
When is the bridge going to be expected to be finished?
July is.
Mid-July.
Mid-July is what they told us originally, and it looks like it's coming pretty fast now that they're
They seem
putting
to
it back
be
together.
fairly on schedule, maybe a few days off. I don't know. They'll make up for it. They're good enough to send us their bi-weekly reports, but
Oh, that's good.
they
That's good.
supposed to be complete within 4 months from start to finish.
We'll see if it really has an impact on this corner up here. It's crazy.
Yeah, I actually do think that will be better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that there would be that many people that use that when you think of the major thoroughfares.
So many people go from Manlius this way, they go down on the grid and
Yeah.
out below,
Yeah,
and they just can't do it anymore. So you get backed up practically to my house. But I think the,
Both directions.
yeah, I bet. I think, I know I'm off topic. I think the New York State Transportation Department must have tinkered with the lights, because if you're coming from that direction, coming in this direction, and you need to take a left, you're in line. I'm not exaggerating. What, you're past Clinton Street, you're by, but so all of a sudden the whole line starts to move, right? So you're like, okay, we're all green, then it stops, and then you're green again instantly. It's like 10 seconds later, you're green again.
That's the way it's always been. Always been that.
That light is always green
Yeah.
and then
It goes red.
it's green, like
Yeah, yeah.
seconds
It
later.
goes green arrow and green. Same time. then it goes red until there's a clear, and then it goes back to green, and that's when the traffic from the south,
Going
just south goes across, and then it's green again. There is a time when it stops.
Yeah.
But
And
that
some of
it,
us have
it is
sat there
not
and
a,
watched the traffic
it
now,
is,
so.
it is, there's issues with it, especially early in the morning. Sometimes the light is red going east and it's green coming west. Even though it's on Route 5,
They actually
Route 5.
touched it for this because I think
Because-
there really is no way
tinker.
to tinker with it.
They
beyond
can't-
what it is.
I just am.
They can't do anything because of Salt Springs.
I know people that are coming north on like, say, 257 that instead of turning Ripley Drive and going out the little bridge that's out, they will come up here instead of going up the little thing and making the turn. Why, I don't know, because I was just go up the little burn turn, but some people are coming this way, so there is an increase, I think, in traffic up here.
It would be a
Because
lot better if the traffic engineer said, we'll go back to the old method rather than having a signal there. A signal that is green and red, have a yellow and a green. Just no signal. I mean, just a signal where you come up, everybody gets a red. This goes. At Salt Springs.
No.
It'd be a lot better. I don't know. I've studied it.
Well, we're not gonna change it though,
No,
unfortunately.
So you didn't have much else from Tyler.
That's all I had from
Yeah.
Tyler, unless you had
I
something
was like,
else.
no, he didn't really have much to report.
Okay. There are some trees over along the Ledger Canal behind Wellwood over in that general area that have to come down. He has quotes for them and he's going to look for approval for those at the next meeting. And I know that we've asked for some quotes also from Bartlett regarding some street trees that need to be pruned and removed, and that he's been working with them on that aspect of things. And we don't have that information just yet. Some of the stuff is things that the DPW can do. Some of it's stuff that they can't do, the Bartlett would do, so. We're hoping that by next meeting, we can kind of get that all kind of resolved as far as what we need to do with trees in general for that aspect of things. Okay. Next, we received a resolution.
Can I do the
Oh,
clerks?
yeah.
I just have. a
Oh, yeah,
couple
clerk,
things,
sorry. I missed
I know,
it.
I tried to like be included.
I know. Okay.
Actually, one, I think we may have already inadvertently taken care of, but I just want to clarify the JRC Technologies Agreement for IT Services that you approved for the fire department. And that be amended to also approve.
Yeah, let's
this-
just, I make a motion to approve those services for. The
Just
clerk
make a
and
new motion.
DPW.
Right, so that same
Second.
motion will apply to
Second.
both agreements.
Right, you got it.
Perfect, that's what I just
Well, you
wanted
can
to-
do a second motion because they just did a second motion for the clerk. Just,
Okay.
just do a second motion, then it's clearing and clear in case we decide against one or the other someday in the future.
That's fair.
I don't
The other item that I had from the clerk's office was a solicitor's permit application for C. Michael Exteriors. It's a group that offers free quotes for home improvement projects, and there was two individuals that have passed background inspection. Background checks that are eligible. So are agreeable, would be the same parameters as we typically do.
Motion for that?
So moved.
Okay,
second.
moving and seconded. Any discussion, all in favor?
Thank you.
Anything else, Karen?
Not for the clerk's office, I think you have the other items.
Okay.
Thank you.
So next, Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad near Scenic Byway Resolution. The county passed a resolution in support of the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad New York Scenic Byway Nomination Corridor Management Plan adoption. And they sent us a copy, so I just wanted to acknowledge receipt of that copy, and we will publish that or post it on our village website. It's not asking for us to do a resolution or a proclamation or anything, but just to, they want us to acknowledge the receipt of this and to.
Are they doing a plan, a byway plan, or is this, are they did they do it and they're
This is
accepting it?
something that's kind of ongoing because I remember doing this in previous years regarding this or whatever. So it says at the end of the whereas is it says resolved that the county of Onondaga supports the designation of the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad and New York Scenic Byway, which includes programs for stewardship and enhancement of the historic scenic byway and guidance to manage future activities along its corridor, and also resolved that Onondaga County confirms it will abide by and follow New York State and federal laws and regulations that are applicable to this resolution. And so it sounds like this is something that as this group wants to develop and do more things along this or preserve it, then this is like a letter of support almost, or whatever, the resolution towards maintaining that Underground Railroad scenic byway.
So it's not a grant program or something where, because I'm thinking of Matilda Gage House. Maybe there's an opportunity for them.
Well, we've already signed on to be part of this a couple of years ago.
Right.
So this is not,
Yeah.
I don't understand what they're really asking for either.
So they're just asking for acknowledgement that we got something like this and that they are supporting it, and then they have. But it says here that it's along the scenic byway composed of representatives of 22 municipalities, and the town of Manlius is listed in here. Village of Fayetteville, Village of Solvay, Village of Elbridge. So anybody that had anything along the Underground Railroad, because there were places here that had Underground Railroad and stuff. So it's just kind of acknowledging that, and we're just acknowledging
Well, I
that.
think the importance of what I'm getting at, and maybe you can share this with the Gage House, is maybe they are very aware of this more than I am, but if you're part of a scenic byway, if you're included in a scenic byway and you're applying for grant funds for something to do either with that topic area of the scenic byway or kind of, one off from that,
Adjacent to
it
it.
may
Yeah.
make you a better candidate. So
I'm
You
happy
can-
to take Jane's
can-
excellent suggestion.
Yeah, you can share it with them.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Next, we have a resolution regarding National Grid Trees Program. And so I remember, and Dan probably remembers, that in years past, if we planted certain types of trees under wires in our village right of ways, that National Grid would pay a little bit of money towards those trees, so that, they don't grow up into the wires. They were species that would be contained underneath the wires. I thought that they had disbanded this program or suspended this program for a period of time in the past, but not, that would have been a while ago, so I don't know for sure, because we haven't applied for anything in a number of years. But we do have an opportunity, you can speak to this too, if you'd like to apply for some refund.
It's a kind of a simple process, really. For us, at this point, it's a one-page application. And we need to just make sure we plant a species that isn't gonna grow into the wire, which we had accounted for, wires, which we had accounted for. So of the 24 trees, 8 were selected because they wouldn't do that. So we can apply for up to 8 trees, at $50 a piece. So we'll get $400. 2 of those are the struggling trees, so an arborist will come out, check the trees, and they'll tell us, yes or no on those struggling ones. But the state employee was like, this is very simple. I was like, yeah, just do this. Their instructions were not, but, and, yeah, so we had decided to do the resolution and I had already written it, and then was like, you don't even need to do the resolution. So anyway, we're just,
We don't need to do the resolution?
we
or
don't
we
need
do?
to do the resolution, but it just seemed like a dot the I and across the
Okay.
T.
It shows that the board's behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we should.
it makes sure that the board, to me, it makes sure that the board knows, like you're saying, Karen, of things that, might otherwise slip by. Cause I don't wanna be asking for money that you guys don't approve.
Well, and basically, so if you looked at it, I know it's like reimbursement for trees that we plant there, but it's almost like a grant type of thing where we always approve like grants and stuff. So I don't think it's a bad idea to have a motion to have this resolution approved, and then whether we need to send it to them or not, we all acknowledge the idea that it's that way.
So you can apply as you're planting your trees or after the fact. After the fact works for us
Yeah.
for 2025.
Okay.
It's called unequal streets,
What?
unequal streets. On one side, you can plant maples that grow big, and on the other side where the wires are, you grow. It's called unequal streets.
I've heard that before. Thanks, Tim. The name of this is 10,000 trees and growing, so.
How often are eligible for two planters?
Annually?
Okay, and max is 8 trees per,
Max is however many trees we will plant
okay.
that are in the
qualify
wires.
or whatever.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
meet
Okay,
all
so
of
this
it.
is what we've met the requirements on for 25. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I saw this program before and I said, we need to get into that. I'd like to chat with you.
And I should acknowledge that, Richard Beanstra wrote the application for us. On the commission.
I'll thank Richard also.
Yes. Richard, he is a very active tree commission member too.
So a motion to submit this application to National Grid for reimbursement of up to 8 trees. How's that?
So,
I'll second. Go ahead.
Okay,
Have Casey second, please.
move in second. All in favor?
thank you.
Okay. And then next we have a block party request for Saturday, July 25th. From 11 to 3 p.m. Requesting the roadblock on Audubon Circle intersection at 101 Audubon and High Bridge Street.
Wait, Audubon Road, it says.
Says here Audubon Circle.
There's two different ones.
Sorry.
There's two different
Yeah.
streets.
Called for putting
I was
road.
gonna say Audubon Road doesn't look right.
I
okay.
didn't, actually, I don't think I recognized.
Are they gonna
There was two different.
are they
ones.
gonna
It was a
recognize-
continuation.
Are they gonna let the people from Audubon Road come? to
No,
this?
they're not invited.
Okay, I wanna know. I figured it was Circle.
They're not inviting people from Spring Street either.
Well, I don't get invited to the Elm Street like
Yeah,
you
it's
do,
getting rough now.
even though you live on,
Well, we could have our own block party somewhere, so that we could have a village, we have a village party at Limestone on the
Yeah.
18th for everybody to come to. So anyways, 11 to 3 on Saturday, July 25th. High Bridge and part of Audubon to,
So it's just half the circle
Half
would be
the circle.
restricted.
yeah, Audubon has the circle
Traffic
to
could
High
go
Bridge,
The other,
so, yeah.
to
So
Audubon Road.
we will notify the police and the fire department about
Yep,
this.
if you guys are agreeable with it, I will let both be aware of that.
Okay.
So is that
So,
everyone to approve?
Moved and seconded. Okay, all in favor?
I,
Okay, perfect.
they notify the police and
Yeah, Karen will notify the police and
Yeah,
Tyler with the DPW will provide the roadblock.
DPW.
And then,
we usually take care of the notifications if everyone's agreeable. That's part of the reason we ask neighborhoods to request.
formally request it.
Yeah.
Okay. So trustee updates. Start here last time. You want to start this time? Okay,
It's about tree commission to start off with.
okay.
First up is pruning. Crew of pruners, led by Rachel Chrisman were out on Saturday. They were not deterred by a little rain and they actually liked it. And Rachel reported that they finished the north side of Elm Street and half of the south side. Their focus at this point is on larger trees in the quadrant. All of the trees 6 inch, I have this written down, I sent it to Karen. All trees 6 inches in diameter or smaller have already been completed in the Brooklyn quadrant. And then good news on our first round of using an online tree request form. As of this morning, we have received 16 requests, which is just in the first week. The deadline for submission is July 15th, so there's more than 5 weeks to go. And the tree commission planting folks can start doing visual inspections of the site and figuring out species. Our goal is to know by August 1st what we want to order.
It's a lot already.
I know, well, all right, I have to admit, I had a little panic attack. I said, let me test this out, and I tested it out, and I was like, well, where did it go?
So what might be your tree?
Karen, where did it go? The form, so it wound up that the person who created the form, Leanna Nugent, it went to her, so when I checked with her, she was able to tell me that she knows where the 16 trees requests are coming from. I'm really glad that they went someplace. Then there's another conversation happening behind the scenes, and it's been like a low key conversation. New York State, DEC, through their urban and community forestry program, put out a grant announcement as part of their 10,000 tree initiative. The focus is on inventories and assessment. And it does include landscaped parks. So one of the things that's happening is that Cornell Cooperative Extension is putting in a proposal for 9 or maybe 10 municipalities, so there would be a stronger proposal, because the minimum is like 50,000, so that wasn't gonna be something we could apply for on our own, nor do we need anything like that. So I would like for us to participate in it. Davy Resource Group is doing the proposal. So we don't have any work, we don't have any match. We would be, there's 4 towns and 5 villages, Families is one of them, and we would be the 6th village. So
Do you need authorization for us to be in that or no?
I always want to need, well, I think I always need authorization from this board in terms of anything related to grants. That's why I'm discussing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say something, thank you. I think it's a wonderful way to approach it, so that working with them, with everyone else at the same time, because that is one of the major problems we have in all of our grants. We're a small community, and many times the grant programs are so large that we really are not eligible for them. And so working in this direction, if it's doable, it's a wonderful way to go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is this grant program just for assessment and identification, or is it more? Like, can we?
It's targeted, we were hoping for maintenance grants.
Right,
Proposals, so
right.
this one is inventory and assessment, so our street tours have been inventoried, but we've always had in the back of our mind that someday we need to look at our park street.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
can
yeah.
only look at the parks trees that this LiDAR technology can get to.
Yeah.
So when they're saying they're dealing with the forest, but you can't go into the forests, I'm like, help, is this really a match? In terms of need, but for us, that would mean that our landscape parks at Beard and Washington fit the criteria. And we had asked that they look at Canal Park. And their initial response has been that it was not eligible, but what I've asked Leanna to go back to them on is, yeah, maybe the whole park where it's more dense, but how about the front park where we do maintain, where we mow? That's where we mow and maintain. Take a look at those trees. Why it's important, information on our trees is important to know where we may have to direct resources. And someday there may be a request for proposals that concentrates on maintenance. So any trees we identify as needing maintenance could be in that proposal. So, I'm really kind of thinking a couple of years down the line, the rate that the request for proposals have come out. We'll just have more information, and then we will be able to get more work done if we succeed. I've also asked them to consider the trees on the Center for Active Adults property. It wasn't something that we initially thought of because we were going for the higher priority, bigger parks. But because it's mowed and maintained, they can do the perimeter and the trees in the big green lot. So I know that we have some apple trees that are, maybe moving along in their life cycle. So any information. Bramlett, Duguid, and Golden are ineligible. Limestone and Veterans are in our inventory. And Tyler's been helpful in providing some site information and also guidance. And so if all of that's, it's like no risk. So I don't know if you're okay with giving me a go ahead to say yes to CCE. That's what I would make a motion to that effect.
Yeah, I would,
Yeah, it's not costing us anything. If they get the grant, it will help us somewhat, and if they don't, we're not out anything, so I think it's a win-win for us to have, be part of it and to, take up the opportunity to have it done.
Yeah, I'll move.
I'll second.
Consortium.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And this is just a little safety blurb. We've talked about the increased tension that is showing up that through our police department. And one of the things they posted about recently is that there has been a recent uptick in road rage incidents.
I saw that.
So they want us to say that safety is our top concern. And these incidents have ranged from minor to some getting physical, and some have even involved weapons. So they're asking everybody to chill out a little bit and use your turn signals, leave a little earlier to get where you want to go. Do not engage with aggressive drivers and keep your hands on the wheel, not make gestures. So
not make what?
don't make gestures with your hands. Keep them.
Oh,
Don't
So-
wave with all your fingers.
No greetings along.
That we're at the point where we need our police departments to be telling us this is a little concerning,
Oh,
but
good
it's a good reminder. Because people are hot right now.
They're.
Well, I wonder if they had
And
to create
that's
that for them to
Thank
make
you.
note of it.
Good information. All right.
Thanks, sir.
Well, we actually have a whole bunch of activities going on coming up this summer for everybody. We've got our first limestone in the park not too long down the road here. As far as what we've got, party in the plaza, was coming up in the next 2 weeks. And so that one's going to be hitting right away, and we're going to keep on moving after that. One for June, July, and August, and also we have the Symphony Syracuse Orchestra, put it properly. They always chide me for that. And we'll be coming also in July on the 11th, and so that's all really pretty good stuff that's going to go on along the way. So that's really what's going on. And I won't keep telling you what I keep telling Jane is to make sure that I still can enjoy my vacation.
Don't ruin my summer.
My summer, I'm like, God, it's gonna ruin my summer, Jane. But I mean, that's part of what's going on. So it really is, the summer is a very unique place in central New York. And so it's not easy to find time to do the things that we'd like to do for the summer. So I've got to say that. And my community garden, which is my garden at my house, gardens plural, because my wife and I were talking about that today. And so far we've moved ourselves up to 5 or 6 different gardens that we have. So I'm like, this is sort of like, okay, I need, and then I have to look and say, I need time for the lake house too. This is not happening. But the plans are all still on paper, so that's all happening. And it's sort of interesting because my vegetable garden is always known in my household as my office.
Oh.
Because when I'm sitting, I shouldn't say sitting, because I'm weeding and doing all the other things that go along with it. Many of our constituents stop and talk and chat their concerns or whatever as when I'm there, because it's, oh, there he is, and they'll chat.
In the back, Becky,
My side garden,
always your on the
my
side.
vegetable garden's on the side, and so it's actually sort of interesting. And so I talk to a lot of folks all the time, and as she said, he went out for a tomato, and 2 hours later, he still hasn't got the tomato. And I got to admit, I'm guilty, because that is one of the things I always take time in order to talk to people as much as I can, because it's important. So that's what we're doing this week. How's it?
Question, I just noticed, and this is just because I probably haven't been around when this was decided. The party in the plaza application fee goes to the chamber?
Yeah.
So I was wondering why it doesn't go to the village.
Because they are managing that
They do
aspect of
that?
it, yeah.
Yeah, I see you and DPW. so-
Yeah, that was, a way to kind of split up the tasks and to incorporate them, and to work with the businesses, both their own members and otherwise. So it kind of helped them, it gave them a job to continue to do. And, the funds, I don't know if they entirely go to them or some of it, the proceeds are donated. So it's a combination of things, but it just gives people, it commits people to being there.
And the other part is the inability of us to solicit funds from folks as elected officials. And I know
Yep.
controllers read on that one like there's no tomorrow.
Well, we could have-
It's a good question, but
We
it
could
was,
have asked them for donations to do that. We could charge them a booth rental if
Right.
we were running,
But if-
to run the event, but for 25 bucks or 35 or
Yeah.
whatever the chamber's charging, it's not really, it's not enough
it's
to
an
make a difference.
administrative
No.
piece, but it also is another way to bring them in. You know,
I
as a
like the idea
community.
of
I think.
bringing them in. I mean, I'd
Right.
like to see that whole area continue to grow with new businesses.
Hopefully, yeah,
More
there will be. They're actually in a
Right.
lull down
They
there,
are in a lull. They are in a lull.
so.
Absolutely are.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
Thank-
Dan? Oh. Jane?
Yeah, so the zoning committee met for their last time. Last week. On the 4th, June 4th. And we had I just gotta give this committee a ton of credit. They all showed up and. We addressed all the comments, which were very few that we received, the committee received. So we talked about them, then everybody came with their own set of, let's look at this section again, you know, their own questions and comments about the code itself. So we walked through every single person's questions or comments. It's enlightening to do that. And Scott Dumas, oh my God, he's so good. He sits back and he does, like in his head, he does the numerical magic of, well, if you're gonna have 50% lot coverage and it can only be this big and this, you know, and then he says, whatever the result is, we're never gonna be, no one's, or this is gonna not look good. We really need to think about this. So it was very good that he took the time to do that.
Yeah.
And then there were several, Van, and Christine, you know, they're reading whole sections. I'm impressed. I know not everybody gets to read the whole thing and it's hard to read it all in one spot, but anyway, the committee did great. We made very few amendments, to this working draft that went out to the public. And they voted, the full committee agreed to say that it's ready to come up to the board. So, everyone thought it'd be better to bring it to the board at the 22nd meeting, May 22nd. So that's what we're planning on. That will include a presentation, so make sure you get that in the agenda. At that time, I will talk with our attorneys about how best for us as a board to begin the secret process, whether it should begin that night, whether we should wait until our July meeting and begin it then. I don't, why would they wait? It's just to me, it's understanding all the steps you need to take and the timing in between all those steps in terms of the process, so that we don't overlook that.
Mhm.
Right? And we're not having 2 meetings in July. But I looked at the calendar. Mark thought we only had 1 in August. I thought we had 2 in August. So I would just like clarification.
That's one of the
on
things
that.
we were gonna discuss tonight. just to
Okay, all right.
confirm.
We don't have to look at that then right now, but, so there you have it. So, the zoning committee, I intend to really encourage all committee members to come to the meeting on the 22nd. So that they can present it to the board and
That'd be nice. We'll thank them for their work.
Once you go down, they'll come.
not for a while, Dan,
Okay,
because,
Okay.
we have to receive it as a board.
Right.
I think
What's the order? Okay, we receive it.
Onondaga County does not receive it until we have done some seeker review.
Speaker, okay. I want to
So,
make sure.
We need to do some seeker review, which may influence our decision on whether that working draft gets amended or not amended.
Mhm.
So we want to make sure we feel pretty confident with that draft before it goes to the county.
Before you do the secret, do.
No,
Because if there's any major changes, Then you have to redo the secret.
That's not as, well, I mean, it's not gonna be as big of a deal in that we need to understand a certain capacity of things, let's just say drinking water. And we know that we have capacity for 2 more residential homes. I'm making this up, but we have very low capacity. Well, we have to understand what we're gonna do about that. And we don't provide our own drinking water, so there's nothing we can literally do.
Right.
The county provides it, right? So there, those kind of discussions have to be had. And I don't think that. I don't know, I cannot predict when we will get it to the county, but. It's not, we should not rush it out the door at all. It's not, is my recommendation, but everybody gets to talk about it. So. First step is to have it presented to the board. By the zoning. Okay,
Okay.
Just a little calendar thing. We were also gonna have SMTC come that night to give a presentation, but the zoning update is more important, so I think I should reschedule him to come into July, because it's not like there's gonna be any breaking news on the SMTC report. So like maybe to put it off, it wasn't gonna be long, but this is a really important focal point for us that night.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's probably a good idea,
That's a really
whatever,
good
yeah,
idea.
you know, we were gonna do it because it was fresher in the guy's mind than.
Yep,
not,
it doesn't
but-
matter, no, it's his job to do his report, so.
Right, no, I
He'll be
understand,
here.
but I mean, he can do it,
No, he's lovely, so yeah, I'll change that.
all right. You're good, or more? No. Okay, so the other thing, June 18th, I think it is the annual meeting of Manlius Historical at the Fayetteville Senior Center. And it's their 50th anniversary, so Barbara Brown, who has been on the board and involved in that organization for many of those 50 years, is going to give a talk. If anybody's interested.
Which,
in it.
which, which-
June, wait, Thursday.
Thursday, June 18th.
The night of the party.
Same as the party. Well,
when the party in the plaza is.
well, that's their regular meeting night, so.
No, it is Monday night, the third Monday,
For who?
the senior center.
no, it's
No,
not senior
the
center.
Manlius Historical
Oh, the
is
historic.
going to be at the
Okay.
Fayetteville
Oh, it's gonna be.
Center for Active
You have to
Adults.
project your voice.
It's gonna be up
somewhere.
there.
It's
No,
harder
it's
to
gonna be
hear.
up there. Okay,
So anyway,
It sounds great, I
Well,
know
yes.
that you have. a
who's been
conflict.
it?
no, I know, I mean, but you can't make everybody happy.
I
Or
know.
or
No, I
probably
know.
anybody happy.
I would
really.
like- I would love to go.
That's
We-
the-
That's why there should be a calendar for all the municipalities.
Well, that's the
I
night.
tried that and.
They're not
nobody
gonna change the
participated.
date, so it doesn't matter
Yeah,
what's on
I
the
know, but
calendar,
what-
they're not
Who's
changing the
this
date.
person that's gonna talk?
Barbara Brown. Lives a Manlius resident, and she's been on the board and.
I know.
been in there. Yeah. She's not from Fayetteville, Manlius Historical covers a lot more. than
I know,
Fayetteville.
I know,
Okay,
but Barbara Brown is not from Fayetteville.
she's not even from Syracuse. Originally. She's not staying here either, once she's ready to retire, she's going someplace else to
I
retire.
don't remember ever seeing her at one of the
What time is it?
meetings that she.
I think it's either like around 6 o'clock-ish or something or whatever, so
I don't remember seeing her at one of the things we had for the historic.
she's been there, she's
She
been
has.
very active, yep.
Oh, I think
Okay.
there might have been one time.
Next,
Okay, next, our meetings for July and August, we said we're going to talk about them
Yeah.
anyways or whatever. So I know we talked about one meeting in July, which was gonna be July 20th. Does anybody remember that or have that written down in their calendars? Anybody?
Yep.
And then I thought we talked about one meeting in August, which was the 17th. But there's no reason to have just one meeting when we have something important like the zoning thing going on. If we need a second meeting, I'm not opposed to having the 2 meetings or having a second meeting just about that subject or paying
So,
bills.
August date that you put out.
I thought it was the 17th, the third Monday of.
I have it on the 10th right now. There's
Oh, you have it.
DDA on the 17th, because I hadn't changed it.
Possibly, I don't know.
We don't know if they're gonna have a meeting or not.
It's not
Right, so-
uncommon for our summer meetings sometimes to coincide with the zoning board.
So, before we land on a date, I just want everyone to think, I do think August, September, October, maybe even November are going to be very full of information about zoning. We're gonna need to do some studies, some, assessments, and then we'll get this information back. And then we're gonna have to digest it, let the folks talk, talk to the committee on that stuff. So I just want to be sure we don't have too many skipped meetings between August and September. Right, because September starts out.
With a bang.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I don't have a problem having 2 meetings, or regular 2 meetings in August, if that's going to help the zoning, because I don't want to have that neglected or delayed, because we have people that are relying on
Might be more manageable to have
outcomes of
short, relatively reasonable timelines meetings.
or
versus
maybe
how
more
long-
focused on like
Right,
one
exactly.
subject of zoning as opposed to a lot of other things at that particular meeting.
I just don't, I can't answer that there will be lots of stuff ready by the beginning of August. I do think by the middle to the end of August. We should have more information.
So we don't have to,
But you're.
Maybe
we
it
don't
would be
have to
wise
decide
just
it
to.
tonight if we
You
don't
don't
want
want me
to.
to final
We
it?
can
Okay.
decide
Yeah.
it.
So maybe suggestion, we actually have them on the books, and if we don't need the first one in August, we can actually cancel that meeting. And then we could go to the list, because I understand why Jane,
Is everybody okay? And the, if
I don't
we
know
have,
if
Yeah, 10th and 24th.
yeah, is that
Yeah.
okay to keep them those 2
I
nights?
agree with what Jane is saying.
All right, so now let me just put it out there. I'm not in town on the.
I'm trying to figure out when it should be in town.
I'm not in town on the
All right.
I don't want to even.
So
call
for-
it.
That's why it was
For
Greenwich.
tonight, because it's a month and well, basically like 2 months from now is what we're talking about, the first date. We will make a decision at our next meeting about August.
Okay,
For now, 1 meeting in July, you feel is
Yes.
okay? So we're gonna do so for the record, we're going to have 1 meeting in the month of July, which is July 20th. If anything comes up and we have to meet differently, we will obviously
Right,
meet
we hope to
to
have a
fulfill
really
our
good,
needs or whatever.
I really am working with our consultants to get a schedule, like really.
And
pin it
then as
down
far
and
as
get-
August is concerned, we can revisit it if we have to change a night or a week or something from our normal 2 meetings. We will look at that. We do it when we have a legal holiday. We do it for different reasons of availability. And we really need to be here as a board to look at this. I feel that all 5 of us should be here at the same time to
Yeah.
look at this zoning stuff as opposed to.
just to throw a monkey wrench into this, just so everyone should know that the town of DeWitt actually changed their meetings for the summer to early in the morning. Just to give them a different perspective so that it doesn't tie up the day. That's always a question of who's available or not, if it makes sense or not. They're in a similar kind of situation with the board like we did. That's all I'm saying.
All right, we can always look
Just
at that
put it
or
as a
whatever
thought.
for a special meeting to do in the
I'm
morning.
not pushing for it, by the way.
I think the argument that we need to have them in the evening is not really strong. But because the update is, happening.
Well, I'm just wondering if would be good to do one, if we went to a morning meeting for something like this. Where we would have time to do it, and we do record them, they're available to people, so.
Like in July.
We have a July meeting in the morning, so, well,
So June, wait,
Yeah.
you're gone all of August?
No, just a 10th,
Oh,
just
okay.
that one
I
day.
was like, what are you doing?
I have.
so if we even adjusted it
Away.
by a little bit, we can, so we'll talk about that next meeting and finalize. I just kind of want to make sure we're good with what we're doing as a group, as far as
Good.
figuring out the dates, because summer's busy for everybody, and you could be away, well, you
Yeah.
said you're going away 4th of July, I think I saw.
Going away.
We all do different things, so.
Fire department changed their meeting from Thursday to Tuesday. 70 years they've been having. They changed it to Tuesday, to see if more people will show up.
Well, we tried that with different things here, so we'll see what
That's what
happens.
you tried. Times change, so sometimes the times need to change. So. yeah. Do we have anything? else?
Anything else? Oh, do you need a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
I'll second.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. That was a good meeting. And I
Good
think
meeting.
that we have a lot of accomplished.
Ah.